Suspenders Unbuttoned podcast. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Julie.
Join us for unbuttoned and unedited conversations.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Suspenders Unbuttoned podcast. My name is Sarah.
And I'm Julie, and we're excited to welcome Courtney Richter and Robert Lawrenson. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you for being here. It's so fun. The fandom is buzzing over Toddy and Trudy. And those were the characters you played on When Calls the Heart, the episode Dance the Night Away. And Rob, you were in another episode as well. But the big dance party scene, everybody can't stop talking about it. So thank you for joining us, and we are excited to learn about it from you. So tell us a little bit about how did you get the parts? Was there a big audition?
Mm-hmm.
You want to go first, Courtney?
Sure.
Yes, it was an audition. It came through like all of them. And right away, I was super excited because as Trudy appears on the screen, it was just as much fun to read, to get to read a character like that. And I did it, auditioned it. I actually got my hair pretty close to how it ended up looking on camera for the audition, which I don't always do. So it was super fun. And then it was on hold for about 2 weeks. And then I feel like about 2 weeks after I auditioned, I found out that I had booked the part. And I was super excited about it.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Similar for me. The only thing I would say is we're all doing it on tapings these days. Very, very rarely go into the room for anything, which is sad because that was always kind of a good experience from my point of view, anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, put it on tape and got put on hold a couple of days later, and a few days after that got confirmed for. But again, as Courtney said, just so excited by. It's such fun playing something in period, something that's got it's like going back to being a kid and playing dressing up. It's that sort of role. So yeah, great.
Kind of why we all do it, right? Like acting is so much fun because you step into a new character, you step into a new role. Yeah. When you get to do that in a period, it's just like it's the most fun you could. It's everything. It's the lottery ones. It's so much fun. As fun as it looked, that's what it was.
So had either of you seen When Calls the Heart prior to being cast in When Calls the Heart?
I have seen parts of it. I hadn't been like an avid watcher of the show by any means. But I've had friends on it throughout the years or other times that I've had auditions for the show. So I would watch it to get a reminder of the style and how the show works.
Right.
But then this audition was so different than any other thing that had been on When Calls the Heart. So it was totally a different concept this time, which was really fun.
Yeah, and I think I've read for the show before. I can't remember what it was for, but I had a look at it back then, and it's not by accident that it's Hallmark's most successful show. It's really beautifully made. I've worked with a lot of the directors that are on the show, and there's some superbly talented people that I admire greatly that work on the show, and they do a fantastic job with it. But I can't. Are you called Hearties? Is that the?
That's right. Yeah.
The fandom. Yes, they are. They are. The fandom is Hearties.
It's always really exciting. Sorry, it's always really exciting to go into a show that's got a sort of established fandom like that, because certainly for myself, coming from a theatre background, when I first got involved in acting, you'd be lying if you didn't like the applause and reaction from the crowd, and you don't get that working in TV and film, very often. And so to sort of see reactions from a fan base is wonderful,
Yeah, and were you on Twitter so you could see kind of like the live reactions to the episodes you were on, or are you getting it all just seeing on social media?
I've been catching up. I was actually getting my daughter ready to go back after reading week back to university, so I wasn't able to watch it as it went out. But I've caught up and had a look at a lot of the socials. I'm sure Courtney was. Courtney's very active.
Yeah, I was. Yes, I got delayed from the start of the episode just because, again, kids. As perfectly planned, bedtime went awry, and it was just like, oh, right, that's on. You can run it. So I was lying next to my son because he wasn't feeling well, so I couldn't watch it, but I was figuring out where we were in the episode by what people were tweeting. And I watched it afterwards.
Sarah watches the show the same way. I'm just gonna say,
I do very often. Yes.
it's great.
Yep. Putting somebody to bed and like trying to see what's happening.
Under the covers, trying to figure it out. Like
Relatable.
I thought you meant your primary screen you're watching is your social feed, and then you're occasionally, what's that episode going on over there? And watching it here, right? Yeah.
Right, and that happens too when you're we'll often live tweet if we can for some of these different movies and series, and sometimes you get so caught up on that part of it that you're not really paying full attention to what's actually showing on your screen. But so we met Toddy at a poker game, so and that was a lot of fun. What did you like about playing Toddy?
Well, it's always more fun playing someone who's a baddie, in inverted commas. And we'd established, early on in the episode, possibly, it'd all been seeded that he's part of a criminal gang, and they're trying to get to bring them down. So it's nice coming in where you've got an expectation from the audience, and you can just come in and just chew on that immediately. And playing the card game, it was, for me, that was Toddy in his like sort of sleazy schmoozy comfort zone, which was so much fun, tipping the lady dealer and looking her up and down, and he's not the most perfect of men, but it's so much fun. But I think even in that episode, straight away when Kevin's character mentions his lady, you see there's something there in Toddy, that he's got a real affinity for Trudy and a real genuine connection with Trudy. So there's a glimmer in him, right? Which is what you always need in a baddie as well, if you're gonna be interested in them at all.
He's got a little charisma to him. He's got everyone's around him. Everyone's at his game.
I only wish I had a little of that charisma in my real life, but I can only do that when I put on the costume. And,
Well, the name. Sorry, what was that?
His accent fakes it. He gets the charisma from the accent.
Yeah, right. You automatically have charisma with that accent.
Well, let's just say that first of all, that accent was not on our screen.
This one wasn't. No, I don't believe it was. No. Apparently, Martin Wood, who directed the first one, wanted me to be an English criminal. I don't know whether that's in any reflection of how he sees me, but that was what he said he'd suggested. But they wanted him to be American, so yes, I put it on. So,
I hadn't realized that you had talked about Trudy in that episode until a fan made something on Instagram that I saw. The story, and it had like a meme of you saying the Trudy stuff and him.
I saw that.
At first, I thought they just dubbed your voice. I'm like, what is this? I was like, oh, right.
He was playing cards with Nathan, and then they ended up talking about their gals.
It's so sweet that they preset that for this. They wrote it all so well. It's that was like there before.
So we get introduced to Trudy then. In the dance episode, in kind of a fun way. It's like a hollering across the street.
Oh my gosh. You did the edit, even where it ended up, which is fantastic. But because I had a very difficult time getting out of that car. It's just with a dress in the car and jumping down, and I was trying to be like, yoo-hoo! But yeah, she's just one of those people that just loves friends. People will gravitate towards anyone and pull them in with them. Like, of course, these random people you're talking to are going to come to our house. That's what we do.
She's a force. She's a force. Yeah.
She's very lively and engaging. But it starts out with Toddy yelling, "Danny boy," because it's Danny and Diane. But in the fandom, I don't know if you know that has a huge implication.
What is that? I saw
because then Ben tweeted Danny boy, and then people are like, "We're traumatized," right?
Yes.
So the original Moti Jack died in a landslide. His favorite song was Danny Boy, and then Elizabeth at some like founder gathering at the church, Aaron literally sings Danny Boy in a like bawl your eyes out.
Wow.
Danny Boy. So who
Hang on.
wrote
I
that?
feel honored that they put that in those words in my mouth. That's really nice. Yeah.
Yeah. So having you yell Danny Boy over at Nathan was just, like it was spectacular and alarming all at the same time.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I was like, is his name Danny just so they could have you say Danny Boy across the street?
Yeah. That was our first day of shooting on that episode, I think. Just stepping onto that street set as it went dark, it was just honestly superb. I'm gonna bore you with praising set design and stuff on this episode. It was phenomenal because I'd seen it a week before or 2 weeks before, just as I can't remember what it was, but it wasn't a cinema, and suddenly it's just there with the lights and everything. It was so good.
It was fantastic. The cars were real, and they drove, and the music was playing. It was just, I don't know if any of you have been to the Boardwalk Hotel in Florida at Disney, which is basically kind of at this time. And it felt like I was there again. That was my only reference of having been in anything like that. And I just felt so authentic and fantastic. It was beautiful.
Yeah. Sarah Maberly is the set designer, and she's amazing. I mean, the detail.
Oh, it's nothing, no rock return. It was amazing.
Yeah, there are posters and posters for the movies on the
and everything. It's
tremendous. Lights, everything, right?
Yeah.
Amazing. But Trudy, she comes running over like she is like all in, like these are going to be our new best friends, right?
Yes. Yeah, exactly. There's a spot as soon as she's talking to someone, they look nice, they're a gorgeous couple. Of course they're going to come to our house.
And of course she's gonna have a dress that just fits perfectly.
Of course. There's no reason anyone can ever say no.
Okay, that you brought that stylized voice though, that 1920s movie stylized voice. How fun was that to do?
Oh my gosh, it was so much fun, and it was just an in the moment discovery when I was auditioning. It just came out with her. I just couldn't help it. She just naturally had that from the first line of like Diane. It was just where it lived.
Okay, can we just talk about how it's Toddy and Trudy and Danny and Diane?
It's so perfect.
If everyone's gonna be in character, let's just go with it. Right?
Go with it. Yeah.
Fully.
So I'm curious, how much direction did you have for the both of you, like kind of about the personality that these characters have?
You know what? Mine was pretty much on how intoxicated she was or was not. Champagne that she enjoyed yet. Not. So we go back, nope, not quite that much yet. Let's bring
which is fun for the party at their house, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, I think when you come in to do a few episodes or a day on something, or whatever it is, the director and the whole production team have got so much to work on and so much to do that's not your characterization and stuff, that the expectation is that the actor, and I'm sure you feel the same, Courtney, comes prepared and with everything, and you will get told if it's not right and it's not what they want. But, the expectation is you come with that fully formed, and so you kind of put all that work in beforehand and just hope you've got it right and you've realized it in a way that resonates with them.
That must be kind of fun to be able to play with these characters, like for a few episodes or an episode, and just go with what feels right for you. Like the accent, I mean, the voice, Courtney, Trudy's voice is now iconic. So, it must be fun for you.
It's so much. I mean, that's why she's truly one of the funnest characters I've gotten to play. And even though it was like for a day compared to ones that played longer, just because there was so much freedom and play in her. And I got to be a character more than just the straight because of the voice of the time period. And Kristen was such a wonderful director, and she's an actor as well, and she really just lets her actors play and live in it and breathe and just has the eye to set it up the way that it'll work on the other side of it. So it was just so much fun. It was I would go back. Even we did ADR after to like re-record some of the lines. Even that, we're just laughing the whole time because she's just so much fun. You can't not laugh and have fun when you're hanging out with Trudy.
I don't know whether you were the same, Courtney, but when I went in for ADR, I was like, can we see all of that scene? I just really wanted to watch it. Because from the first moment we walked into, and here's a little bit of trivia for you. We walked into the schoolhouse, not Toddy's mansion. It's actually the schoolhouse 99% of the time, reimagined as this Gatsby style dinner and drinks party. But from the moment we stepped in there, it was just, the scene was set, and you felt like you had to rise to what had been done, with everything you brought to it, because the effort and the skill and talent that had gone into creating the world that we stepped into was phenomenal. I was also thinking, Courtney, you really need to, if you ever have the lucky enough to come back, you really need to make that your catchphrase. Those 2 lines that you deliver towards the end, where you go, "More drinks, more dancing."
Also, that's and so she's like, more drinks.
The first one, I put a picture, I think, on Instagram, and I'm like, this, and it was me doing just for fun when we were doing a rehearsal. I just yelled it out. I was like, more drinks, more drinks. Not quite that far, but
Yes, but this party, so it's Toddy and Trudy's home, which is apparently worth a lot of bucks. And they've got a party, like what is there, a 4-piece band on their stage?
Yeah. We've sold a lot of pocket watches.
Yeah.
Well, it's the
Shane's
gold.
coin dealer business is doing well.
It's the gold piece that's making him all the money.
It's funny you mentioned the band, though, because the band were all real musicians.
Yeah.
They were. I would say about how we all felt in this world they'd created for us, that we were just, dying to start playing in it. The band couldn't play, and they really wanted to.
Yeah.
But obviously, you've got to record the dialogue, so you couldn't have any noise from them.
Yes.
Brilliant musicians were all sat there just miming the life the whole day. It was awful for them, really.
The poor band probably.
I know.
Get some
That
1920s.
didn't dawn on me. Yeah. Wow.
And speaking of dialogue, you guys, okay, so this one episode, you're on our screens for 1 million minutes. Like these are big scenes. And the one scene where you are going back and forth with Danny and Diane, and you guys are just quizzing them. It starts out with Trudy quizzing Elizabeth, like, how did you meet? Like, we have to talk about this scene and this dialogue.
The start of that scene when she's like, I want to hear how you met him, and I have to chug that champagne. I think, not even exaggerating, at least 20 times. For all the different coverage and doing it, and then the next day again. It was so many times to get that fucking chug that.
And you chug it all. You chug it all.
Because of course,
Elizabeth just.
Well, she dumps it.
She dumps it.
Bubbles and all. And that probably helped with Trudy's voice too, because it was so bubbled up. But no, that dialogue is so fantastic. And getting that was part of my audition. I don't know, Robert, if you had anything from this episode in your auditions or not. We didn't get to cover that, but that was part of my audition. So getting to learn it that way and do it, and then actually play it with Robert, with Aaron, with Gavin, it was just so fantastic. And watching their versions of it, and expression, and their enjoyment, and watching between them, the romance between them, it was just so fantastic to do, and so much fun.
I think the payoff for that, because I guess it was it was a lot of fun, that moment as you go through it, but you could have just seen it as a lot of fun. But the writers had made this beautiful payoff where they go up and what a phenomenal job they did. That was the first they did. That was like the first take, I think, the one they used. It was so good. And as I understand, they just prepped it all themselves, and they went and sung that song together. And it was
the singing. Yeah, they did it like twice. They just stepped up and did it, and it was exactly what you saw. It was just
such a great payoff,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that is something that has been wanted for a very long time, to hear Nathan and Elizabeth sing together. So
Oh, nice.
I
Kevin
think,
and Aaron's singing is not unknown to people. Like, they
Yes.
both have amazing voices, and
Yeah.
so super fun. I do kind of like, though, like during that scene where there's a lot of like they're making it up, and you guys are trying to. Toddy in particular is like, "Are you telling the truth or not?" But there's a moment there, where a little bit of a romantic moment, where Nathan breaks from Danny and is really Nathan.
yeah.
and says, there was a moment when she was kind to someone who's dear to me, and like I'm just like, and then Toddy is coming through pushing it. Was it fun to do those back and forths with that?
It was really fun, and when I first read it, I thought, wow, this and shoot me for underestimating both the scriptwriter and the actors, but I thought, wow, how does this turn this way? And it'll go soft within this scene where the cross questioning, but Kevin just played it so beautifully. That line between sort of, staying in character,
Right.
his normal character,
Character 2 versus character 1.
Yeah, it was great. It was great. I mean, I just had to sort of, hopefully I didn't push it too far with the sort of suspicion, because I was just I was just wanting to but yeah, you have to hold back sometimes because it just doesn't suit the characters.
No,
No,
but
it was perfect, because it was perfect. You played it right when you're the bad guy, but everybody loves you.
Oh, that's nice. Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, the bad guys, Toddy and Trudy, are everybody's favorite. And
Well,
so-
Trudy's not a bad guy.
I think it works so well with you and your suspicions, because Trudy was just eating it up with a spoon. She just, everything they said.
She was hammered by this
It's not
point.
the real love between them and doing it. And I think maybe she knows everything with her husband that he does on the up and up, but I don't think she asks.
Yeah.
He's got money and he throws good parties.
Right. Yeah. It's okay.
Yeah, I took it as she plays a little naive, like she just lets it. Yeah.
Oh, there's
don't need
more
to
going
know.
on in there
Yeah.
than she admits to. Yeah.
Oh,
definitely.
100%. But she's playing for the party. I kind of love that not only does she have a dress that will fit Diane, that Toddy has a tux that will fit Danny just conveniently.
Yeah.
It's got like a closet full.
And there was a scene, it got cut before even shooting. It wasn't, I don't think it ended up in the final script, but there was originally a scene of me showing Erin the dresses and her getting ready. So it like kind of established that as well.
Okay. Oh, like she does have a closet full of dresses.
Oh, closets. Everyone, you can
That would have been fun. Yes.
So fun. So let's talk about the costuming, because Erin's costume wasn't the only gorgeous costume. Oh my
gosh, I know. I have never had such a long wardrobe fitting that I wanted to actively keep going in, because like we tried on the blue, the one for the party first or second, and she's like, oh yeah, this is perfect. Like, I'm like, well, let's just see what that one. And I just want to try, and I literally like just lived out my little girl's dream. I tried on every single dress, like so many that our beautiful background dancers and actors were wearing. I tried them on because I just wanted to wear as many as I could from that time.
Yeah.
Right? And the headpieces too.
Oh my gosh. Even the outfit from the car, that blue dress, I don't know when she saw it in the hat. I keep forgetting to post on it because
the cute hat.
So beautiful. I just loved it. And it was all vintage and real, and it was just amazing. Yeah. From that first outfit that they put on. It was just, that's what makes it so fun. And they have such a good eye. And oh my gosh. So in the script, it would say like Diane reveals herself and everyone's mouth is just like, I guess. And then Erin did walk in that dress and in that look. And it's like, they didn't have to tell anyone to act like, wow, because it just was that moment.
Yeah. And then Kevin's walking through, coming towards her. Like,
it was just so well done and beautifully played by them and dressed and more.
Because
it was
it's
a
not
rom-com moment for sure.
Right. Because it's not a movie, it's a series. These two haven't really had a reveal before. So this was like kind of their first like reveal thing. So So kind of fun to see that. But even the guys dressed to kill in all the tuxes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I didn't obviously have quite the style that Courtney was able to carry off, but one of my colleagues on the day actually came over and said, "That's a really nice suit" to me, and I was, we kind of had that moment. Yeah, no, they were beautiful. They were really, really, you've got, and it's great because there's something really important about feeling the part. Something like that. It really does make a difference. Certainly to me, I don't know, I can't speak for everyone, but it really makes a difference if you can look at yourself and go, yeah, that's exactly how I pictured this guy. So it's brilliant costume.
Oh yeah, and the hair,
the music and the dancers, and
yeah.
Speaking of dancing,
I know we need to talk
let's
about
not speak of
dancing.
dance.
Yes. Toddy says to Danny, I gotta keep the character straight. He's Danny. Danny, that they drags him out on the dance floor. So clearly you're an expert dancer at doing the chart.
Clearly. You will notice that the camera doesn't follow me a lot, though. That's in the dance. But that was by design.
So did you guys have to learn to Charleston, or did you know how to Charleston?
We did. No, we had rehearsals that we got to learn with the teacher, and we did. We were. I can say, neither of us are natural dancers quite the same way that Karen and Aaron are. So we really used
Courtney's
that.
Being modest, she was very good.
I feel like it's
both
pretty forgiving, right? Like everybody has their own little spin to it. Yeah.
Right.
If you can walk forward and then walk backwards and swing your arms, you're kind of halfway there. That is the one good thing about it.
Yeah.
So when we were doing the rehearsal a week before, we had a whole 2 hours to learn how to dance. Not really ever danced, but when we did that, we had a great teacher, and she really did kind of bring us from 0 to about 2 out of 10 on my part and 9 on Courtney's part. But one thing that Courtney pointed out to me, and I'm so glad she did, because I was obviously concentrating on everything else: my feet, my hands, my how many steps.
Before you say it, hold on. The reason I pointed it out is you were doing it, and he's like, "You keep laughing at me."
I was completely unaware that on every when was I hitting the look? When was it? Was it on the?
It was the reason. Oh my gosh! Hold on, I'm sorry. I don't know how to get.
I'm so sorry. It's really unprofessional, isn't it? I don't know what to say about my wife.
It's perfect.
Well, the point being, I was unknowingly pulling a very, very strange face whilst very first down. I'm not even sure I can do it. Go on, do my face, Courtney. Go on.
Every time you get to the front, so you step back. Every time you come forward to kick, you'll go.
It was the tongue, wasn't it? It was the tongue. Yeah.
It was the tongue, and I would laugh, and he thought I was laughing at his dancing. I'm like, no.
Also, she's knocking my confidence down with every sort of step, because I have no idea that every time I come forward, I'm like back. I come forward, I'm like.
Hey, it's your party. You can do what you want to.
Absolutely. Do you know what? I think it's a silly face that my dad used to do as kids when he was messing about. And in this complete uncomfortable situation of having to learn to dance, I just defaulted to some distant memory as to what my face looked like.
I wish it made it into the
is that anywhere on the screen? Can we find
managed to pull it in for the actual
we did.
So when you're doing a dance, how many people were dancing? Like, how many cast members were dancing during those scenes?
Everyone that you saw, like in the scene, they were all there dancing, and there was like choreographed. It was quite a bit. Kristen did these amazing shots, like these runners that. Every moment was just choreographed, people crossing, but it didn't stop. It was just
there were some professional dancers in there, right?
Oh, yeah, they were definitely people that had
the guy was sliding up to the bar.
That guy was awesome. Yeah.
Every time you needed to move the camera from one place to the other, they decided not to use me going over here. And instead, they used. I hope no one makes a meme out of that. I shouldn't ever do something like that on the internet. That's dangerous. Anyway, yeah, those professional dancers would do a twirl and and move the scene around.
Then we'd be like,
Although I did a twirl, didn't I, Courtney?
you did do a twirl. I was impressed. When I saw it, I'm like, wow, you spun around when we went under. I
think you didn't think I could move like that. I thought you thought I was too old to move like that. That's what you're saying, isn't it?
I feel like they made us look like much better dancers in the edit.
Oh, for sure.
They did a fantastic job.
Yeah.
It
And
looks
they're like,
great. I mean, at one point, don't Danny and Diane like go over Trudy's head? Like,
Yeah.
in the
Oh,
end
yeah.
of the dance?
No, that was one of those really long, because she did like 4 or 5 designed shots that were just long single camera moves on a steady cam.
So it's timing and going, and I'm not short. I'm 5'8", and then I had heels, so figuring out and ducking under and go. It was, but they did it. It's amazing. We pulled it off.
Yeah, I mean, it looked amazing, and something like this has never been done on this show in all these seasons before. So I imagine that there must have been like a special energy that day.
There was. I mean, the whole cast and crew on that show, because they've all been there together for so long. They're such a warm family, but a very welcoming family. Everyone from the first day when my hair was in curlers and I met everyone that was shooting a different scene, they were just all so warm and welcoming and beautiful. And the crew, that you can sense the bond between them all and closeness. And they were all so excited about this episode. And they kept saying, like, it's different than anything that we've done before. And they loved every moment of it. They were right there along with us, enjoying the party and the atmosphere and the set deck. Everyone was like in on it and excited about it, which was really, really cool and awesome to be a part of.
It's been an amazing transition to go from the 19th. They've been in the 1920s for the bulk of this, and now they're in the 1920s, and it gives them a very different vibe and a lot of energy and brightness to the screen. Like,
yes, I feel like Trudy really brought that. Like, she came rushing in with all that 1920s.
Not the roar of the 1920s. I know. I kept saying that. I'm like, she's gonna have to do like a country trip to Hope Valley if they get 13. It's just like normal all of a sudden, like, Diane.
Okay, that would be so much fun to have Danny and Trudy just be like running down the street, and everybody would be looking at her like, Diane.
That would be fantastic. Any chance we get to see Trudy or Toddy again? Can you tease anything?
Not as of this season that we are aware of. Yeah, but
never say never. I mean, I think we would certainly love to do it, but it's up to the guys that write the show.
Yeah.
So.
I need Trudy and Toddy to show up in the country. Like, come on.
Yes. I looked up the name Toddy, and did you know it means like sly fox? Like, that's like
nice.
People were calling their kids that, like, after family members that were a little sly. So I thought that was really clever, and I love that we got to see a tiny bit of that humanity, even though we know he's not a good guy, but you can tell he still loves Trudy, and it makes you love them because they love each other. So I think there's so much room for them to come back to Hope Valley for some reason. Yeah.
I mean, I know I was chatting with Kevin on the first day of filming, and he was saying just how excited all of the cast were for what they saw as very, very new kind of story arcs and stuff. And it was nervous excitement because they were waiting to see how the audiences responded, but it seems like everyone's loving it. So I think it's been a big success, this kind of new, more adventurous, let's say, storylines and stuff. But it's great.
It's really brought a freshness to the show. For a show that's in its 12th season, it's fun to be able to. I think the 1920s change has given it, a freshness that was really fun to see on screen.
Yeah, and I think they're being very careful to hold on to that really pure kind of central feel of the series. And I know overhearing some conversations about which scenes made it and which scenes didn't. That's being really very carefully thought out and obviously done right.
Right.
What was your favorite thing that you filmed when you were going through all your scenes?
I mean, the dance was just. It was very. There was a lot of laughter. Let's say that. But it was just such a huge spectacle that we were creating that when we got to it, I was incredibly nervous because I am no dancer. But yeah, that was just so much fun, and we'd had to put, myself and Courtney had been exchanging stories about how we'd been practicing at home to try and get this Charleston right and everything. So definitely, and that was the pinnacle of the 2 episodes for me, and it was wonderful to do, and even more wonderful to see what Kristen had brought to the screen. It looked terrific.
Yeah, and mine was probably the scene that you had mentioned, Julie, of the back and forth on the couch with the 4 of us when we all listening to their story and getting it and how it played out and watching it go with them. It was really, really fun for me to see because it had been in my head for so long from the audition, seeing what each person brought to it, Robert and Devin and Aaron. It was really fun. And to have the reaction, because again, Trudy is just so effervescent and excited. So listening to the story and just getting to like any impulse, getting to just play it, like just the excitement of listening to them and falling for this love story, doing and like her like hiccups and that, like it was a blast. It was so freeing.
I love how she's such a hopeless romantic.
Yes. Yes.
And the show was so kind to us as roles coming in for 1 or 2 episodes. Like you pointed out before, we had these really great kind of long scenes where we're quizzing the leads and stuff. And it was, you don't often get that much, of an input in such a small, in introduction to a show. So that was phenomenal. And it was brilliant playing alongside Courtney, because Courtney, like you say about the energy she brought with the character, like when she first opened her mouth in character, when I think we ran the lines or something, for just half a second, I'm like, whoa, what's that? And then I immediately fell in love with it. And I'm like, just because I hadn't thought of it, but she clearly had. And thank God.
Yeah, we had met like this and we'd rehearsed it with each other for 3 hours, 4 hours. And then we had talked about day in the trail and like the circuits and stuff. And so he had no idea what was coming. Actually.
But, that's what we're all at the end of the day trying to tell stories. And Courtney's, what she brought is, and Courtney's not just an actor; she's also a fledgling screenwriter. She's actually written a spec script for it would be a Hallmark movie. It's like a rom-com movie as well. So stories at the heart of everything we do. And I don't know whether you want to talk to that, Courtney.
Yeah, you should. Let's hear about your specs. Like, so you have a spec script. Have you launched it off and sent it to somebody?
I have. It's with a few people. It's a Chris McCoe movie.
Yeah,
it's one of them. Because my husband is Jewish and I'm not, and it's a story about a woman who has lost her holiday spirit and gains it back and being stuck in a small town with the holiday loving and working together in the town spirit helps her overcome her loss and find her holiday spirit again and celebrating both Christmas and Hanukkah.
I love that. That feels like something they would be very interested in.
Yeah, it's told me about. I was like, it's not been done, and it's a great idea. So it
sounds like it has a lot of heart too.
Yeah. Let's talk about that a little bit. So you both have, big careers and interests. What about you, Rob? I see that you have some editing credits along with other things, like some of our fan favorites, like The Curious Cater, Addictions of a Holiday. So tell us a little bit about what else you guys do.
Yeah, well, I've spent kind of the last 2 decades working as an actor and a voice actor, and as a film editor. I've done a lot of non-scripted television, but I've also I kind of cut my teeth as a film editor on single camera drama in the UK. Some of the big shows like Heartbeat and some of the big soap operas over there I worked on. And more recently, because I'm hoping to start directing scripted myself in the next year or two. I feel that everything I've kind of learned from I've been really fortunate to work with some of the great Hallmark directors. Like I worked with Paul Ziller on a number of films, and Ali Liebert, who's only recently started directing, but wow, has she taken off in a big way. And I've learned so much from them in the process of editing the movies I've worked on, that it's really given me the sort of rounding that I feel I need to be able to bring, my ideas for directing to screen. And that's only because those directors are so collaborative, that they really sort of, I'm not going to say lean on their editors, but they really sort of are open to what the editor brings to different scenes. And we've often changed directions. I've been fortunate enough to get some of my ideas to kind of change how we're going to treat a certain scene and stuff.
Yeah.
And they've run with my ideas, and it's made it. So yeah, I've learned so much from that maybe I'll get to direct Courtney's. I should get on board.
I love it.
Get the team back to
natural progression personally. I would love to start directing this kind of thing. And I shadowed Martin Wood years ago, on when he did a show called Sanctuary, a sci-fi show I worked in. And I was fortunate enough to shadow him and Damien Kindler back then. And so there's been a lot I felt I've learned, and I was just waiting for the time to be right in my life, and I'm kind of there now. So that's hopefully me next. But I don't want to stop acting. I just want to kind of do everything.
He's got such a great eye for it, especially with his editing background. We could be doing a scene. He's like, well, they'll probably cut here, so we need to.
Oh, I know it gets in the way.
He's got like such a natural eye for it.
I have to stop myself, because when we shot there's like things where we shot the insert of, and when I say insert, where they cut in to show the pocket watch in his hand. And I often see when I'm editing, that they've shot. So somebody puts their hand in like that in the wide shot, and then they use the other hand like that in the close. Like, well, hang on, come on. So I was like, my editor's hat was on when it shouldn't have been on, and I was saying, well, let's make sure we bring it in like this.
Right, that's how you brought it in, and we got a beautiful shot of the two-headed gold coin, right in the pocket watch.
Oh, yeah.
I imagine that would impact how you try to move on set, because you have that big background of editing. So I think that's very interesting.
Yeah, it's certainly really helpful as an actor to understand why. I think it's probably quite easy, certainly for new actors, to be. There's a lot of standing around on a film set, right? And if you don't understand why we're going again and again and again, I reckon that could become frustrating for, like I say, if you're new to it. So it's been great to have always had that kind of insight and know exactly why I see why we didn't get that. That won't work with that. So yeah, it's definitely helped.
Yeah.
So did you both always want to be actors, or how'd you kind of get there?
Yeah, it was something for me since I was a little girl that I always definitely wanted to do. I wanted to be an actor, and I love performing, but I cannot sing. I can't dance, and I always joke that I'm like a half threat instead of a triple threat.
Like, so you're not the triple threat.
So acting was the way that I could make it do it.
Can we go on that again, Courtney? Say you're good at everything, okay?
Everything. I can do it all with good editing, like Robert. Then I
We'll fix it in post.
I cannot sing though. I could not. That has been proven. I have been coached. I have been to theater school. I've performed solos to my own detriment. And it is pretty exciting. I could sing as Trudy, because I feel like she would be off key. So Trudy in an off key way.
Now we need Trudy singing, yes.
And a lot of bubbly before she sang, right?
Exactly. So then it doesn't matter.
Not a care. Not a care.
If we'd have stayed with that evening any longer, I'm sure she'd have been up on the stage doing it. Anyway,
more drinks, more dancing, just because.
Yeah. Get a karaoke machine out. I didn't have those in 1920, but we'll use some paper and pen.
But yes, it was always a part of me. And then my story, a little particular when I aging myself, but in my last year of high school, when I was going to go to theater school, was when 9/11 happened.
Yeah.
And it made me pivot for a little bit. When it happened, I just wanted to do a job that could help people and did something more. So I was going to actually be a police officer because I wasn't very good with blood, so I couldn't be a nurse. And I just think fire just didn't appeal to me. So I just went through school to do policing. And when I did that, I did like 300 hours of ride-alongs and trained to be a police officer. And I realized that I wore my heart on my sleeve a bit much to actually do that job at the end of the day. Seeing and helping, and I think police officers are amazing and do some wonderful things. I just wasn't able to carry the weight of that. And then I was going to go to law school instead so that I could have more to do with the after. And before applying to law school, I was like, I just got to try one time. I'll just apply to theater school. This is it. I'm going to go travel for a year and then apply to law school. See, and when I traveled, I watched in Australia Dirty Dancing for the world premiere. And it was the first musical theater that the lead didn't sing. And so something in my head went, I can be in Dirty Dancing.
Yes.
That seems like I could learn.
Right. That's such a valid point, because I think there's a lot of people out there that are interested in, the performing arts, but they think like, oh, I can't sing, or I can't do tapping, like I can't do this, so I can't even try.
Yes. It was the moment for me. So as soon as I came back to Canada, I traveled for that year in Europe and Australia, and I came back to Canada and I applied to theater school instead of law school. And I got in, and then I just kind of kept going from there and went. So it's been wonderful. And I've gotten to work with Hallmark a lot and different networks. And now writing has become the next passion of mine with it, writing the MOWs. And I have a series that I'm working on as well, because what I love about When Calls the Heart is that it's a safe escape. It's an escape in a story and drama and love and all of the emotions, but it's safe. And I think there's such an importance for that to exist in the world with everything that goes on. And so my passion in writer is to continue to create those escapes for people. That's what I really enjoy doing.
Yeah.
Now, have you ever played a police officer?
I was going to ask that. Yeah.
I've auditioned for them a lot for detectives and doing it. I think I have actually. No.
Okay, well, you should write a script.
You should write
100%.
Just,
Next one. I'll be
in basic training for police. There you go.
Yeah.
How about you, Robert? How did you get into acting? Was it always that, or?
Yeah, I mean, as a teenager, I started doing like youth theatre, and we were doing all the Rodgers and Hammerstein plays and Gilbert and Sullivan and that kind of thing. So, which I just absolutely loved. It kind of, I found myself there at like 14, 15, 16, 17 doing theatre. And then I just hadn't really grown up. So I took a little bit of a detour into banking.
Okay.
I say I hadn't grown up because I kind of, my mother did banking and my brother was working in banking. My best friend was, and I just went wrong for a bit. And I became more and more miserable for 4 years until I realized I had to do something that I had a vague interest in with my life. So, I then thought, well, I want to go and act. So I couldn't really afford to go to theatre school, so I applied for university degrees to do a drama degree, and went to York and did a drama, film, and television degree. And we then put a few of us in the third year formed a profit share theatre company, and we went up to the Edinburgh Festival a few times, 2 or 3 times, and put shows on up there and put shows on in York. And then another detour happened, which has kind of formed the way my career's panned out now. Was that at the end of my degree, I was offered. I went and did an internship with Yorkshire Television, who are a big broadcaster in England, and they offered me basically to train as a film editor, which is something I'd also done since I was a kid. We had a film club at school, and I used to do that. And I took a view at that point that would be a good backup to my acting career. So I took 4 years out and edited TV shows in England, and then launched myself as an actor and got an agent. I was like 29 or something then, and then I've kind of balanced the two ever since.
Wow.
That's
You both have a great journey.
I love your guys' journeys are like police officer and banker.
Lawyer, yeah.
Well,
Trudy as a police officer.
the other thing is our industry is the sort that you really have to be able to do different things because
Right.
it's hard. You know, sometimes you're in a job and you're on a show and you've got some regular income coming in. That's great, but that's not all the time for everyone. So you know, it's good to have other things that keep you invested in the same ecosystem, but you know, a different way to earn a living. So.
Right.
Yeah, I haven't been a police officer, but I have been arrested as a character, not in real life.
Okay.
I've been arrested a couple. That's more fun. Yeah. Do you have dream projects, like a dream role or something you would really love to bring to screen?
Yeah, I mean, for me now, it's currently the script that I'm working on. I would love to get to do it and as the lead in it. For one, because I love the story and the character, and then just for me, I love the representation being there for my kids too, and then getting to see that. My husband's also an actor. We met in an acting class 15 years ago, so getting to have and doing that and showing, you know, my daughter and son what you can do when you just kind of set your mind to it and keep going. Yeah, that's kind of my dream. And then just great things like this, working with great people that are there to have fun and enjoy the day to day, which is, you know, what When Calls the Heart has in spades. It's just such a wonderful production to be a part of.
Yeah, I think I've always been a fan of sci-fi. I'll watch any big sci-fi movie that comes out. I love that kind of stuff. And the directors that I admire the most are, you know, the big sci-fi directors. I would love to, you know, have an opportunity one day to work on a show. Like I saw that what Martin Wood and Amanda Tapping and Damien Kindler did with Sanctuary years ago. I saw that very closely, and it was such a fun but amazingly creative environment, you know, especially on that show, because back then we were kind of pioneering the use of green screen in studios as a go-to rather than just for certain scenes. You know, we did pretty much everything on a green screen, and so I would love one day to get in a position to direct science fiction, TV science fiction. That would make it for me.
Yeah. Is there a science fiction world you'd want to live in for that?
I don't know. I kind of feel like we live in a science fiction world these days.
But like, would it be space or, you know?
I think the most fun things are those things that sort of lurk beneath the surface. You know? You know, the idea that there are things that are happening that we don't all see, you know, that's always the most fun part to me, because they could be true, you know, they could, you know, so something in that vein.
Now, have you ever acted in a sci-fi?
Myself?
Yeah.
I did a couple. I did a show, the Sanctuary show. We did Primeval as well, which is a dinosaur show that was originated in England. We did Primeval New World over here, and that was, for me, that was kind of like, you know, that was a massive load of boxes ticked. Getting to run around with laser guns and things, you know, and get paid for it. That it was, you know, it doesn't really get much better than that for a boy when he grows up.
Except to get paid for it.
Yeah, so
the sets on sci-fi. I would say they're incredible because they're detailed, and they're these imagined worlds that, you know, don't actually exist. So there's that little kid comes out to play whenever you walk onto a sci-fi set. But I would also say When Calls the Heart set plays to that too, because it's from a time period and their detail on those sets is incredible. So it also feels like you're walking into something. No, but I think it's whenever it's a sci-fi, Robert, I can't speak for you, but I think it's the same when you walk in and you see the world they've built. It's just like we're just like the audience. You're just taking it in. You're like, what? Yeah, incredible.
You did Altered Carbon, didn't you?
Altered Carbon was
massive, sort of, you know.
Kristen was in that, actually. Kristen, our director, was in Altered Carbon as well.
That's right. And Pascal.
She's in it. and Pascal. Yeah, we all did. Yeah, and those sets were like, that was insanity. I've never been on anything. I probably it was just it was so fantastic, the sets they built for that show. It was amazing. Any of it, I spent quite a bit of time on Supergirl and the set and the crew for that as well. These big juggernaut shows that you get to just literally walk into another universe on. And same with Hope Valley, because it is in one space.
Right.
Yep.
They've been able to make their set so detailed and realistic that it just adds to the fun and joy of the day.
Yeah, the good thing, the great thing, like I got all this information from Kevin McGarry, is that they've got everything in that patch of land there, to create all these different landscapes. They've got like a row of houses across the other side of the field. They've got the town that's kind of just keeps getting bigger and bigger as they build it up, which is kind of the natural progression of that town anyway. So it kind of works with the story. It's such a phenomenal location they've got down there. And like I was saying, there was a back door where we go out and get some air because my goodness, it was hot in that dancing. And you just step out and into this relative silence and just look out over these fields. It's a beautiful part of the world and such a great place to work.
Yeah.
And then that's just their set, and it's all there, and they come every day to the same place.
And they've got such great support from the owners of the land as well, because as I understand it, they're big fans of the show as well. So that they can't do enough for them. It's a real perfect scenario. I mean, it'll probably run forever, to be honest.
Right. Well, seems like a beautiful relationship between the show and the property owners. And
Right.
Yeah. And I have to give, I want to make sure I give acknowledgement before I forget, at the opening of that party scene, and I apologize, I don't know her name because she was an extra, but the woman pouring the champagne.
Oh my gosh.
Just her.
She's
fantastic and great. Oh my goodness.
I know. We need to figure out her name. She was fantastic.
Because she took her moment and ran with it. She is.
Oh my gosh. And that was the wonder. She did it multiple times, and that energy and that flow. She's like, that's Trudy's friend.
For sure. Man.
I probably would have knocked all the glasses over. Yeah.
They're like besties, and they're both rich. Right? Like they're the Tower of Champagne. Like, come on!
Every Saturday night, there's a tower.
She knows how to make the tower flow. That woman knows how to make the Tower of Champagne flow, right? Like she's the one in charge of that.
Yeah, it was all so realistic. I was eating it up. I was when we were doing stuff where I'm just background but off camera, and you needed a little bit of movement and you need to see things that are going on. Me and some of the supporting artists, we were just having such fun, just chatting in character and making up all these stories in the background. It was joyous. Yeah,
like a real time to play.
Yeah. And I think they all felt it as well. All the extras felt it as well. It's not the normal run-of-the-mill job where you're just walking in the BG across the street or something. It was a lot of fun for everyone.
It brought such an energy to the screen, and as somebody who's seen the show all along, I've been saying that after that episode, it was kind of like. How Wicked has a first act finale, Defying Gravity. It was like halfway through the season. It was like their first act finale. That whole party was so amazing.
Well, as
ever compare. Sorry, Rob. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, from what I've heard, they've got some great stuff coming up. I mean, it's everyone's delighted with the writing this year, so it's. I don't think you're going to be let down.
The team is wonderful. Hey, would you guys like to play a game with us?
Sure.
Okay.
Really ask what?
Okay.
It's a favorites game, sort of.
It's not really a game.
So we'll ask you a couple of what are your favorites, and you can give however many answers you want. So do you have a favorite rom-com?
Yes, but so many. I don't know why 27 Dresses is coming to my head.
Oh, but it's so good.
I love it.
It's so good.
It's Notting Hill, Julia Roberts 90s, any of it. Bridget Jones. I love rom-com.
Yeah. No, I'm a bit of a softie and a fan of rom-coms as well. I would have to say Sleepless in Seattle, as cheesy as it sounds.
Yeah.
It's a
it's
classic.
probably more than any other rom-com. Although Notting Hill probably comes close.
Yeah, I love Notting Hill. And Week's Notice. All all of them. I love them.
All of them.
Yeah, my happy place.
Do you have a favorite? Yeah, no, they're so great. Do you guys have a favorite TV series or something you're currently binging?
Oh, my all-time favorite's Gilmore Girls.
Oh.
I'm that, of course.
Right.
You can't beat Gilmore Girls. It's gonna be my favorite.
I cannot get my daughter to watch with me.
Oh, how old is she?
14. So I'm like, no, this is when you're supposed to watch Gilmore Girls.
Yeah, you gotta line up with Rory. She'll get there. She'll get there.
I think the thing I'm excited to watch at the moment, I've watched the first 2 seasons and absolutely adored, is White Lotus. I'm about to start.
Oh yes. And Severance. White Lotus and Severance are my 2 that
I've got Severance on my list. I haven't started it yet. But
I haven't seen that one.
Oh, it's so good.
No.
It is sci-fi and go, but it's a ride. It's revenge.
But I tell you what, this is hard these days because there are you used to, you'd see people after a week and you'd say, "Oh, did you see what was on TV on Saturday night?" And everyone would have.
Yeah.
We had like 3 channels or something, but there's so much content out there and so much really, really good content. In fact, I've just remembered I should have said Breaking Bad. That's what I should have said because that's probably my all-time favorite. But yeah,
you can still say it.
It's all it's iconic. I mean, this is how we get ideas, honestly, like what we should watch.
Right? What are you watching?
Because there is so much content.
That is, we'll keep your game, but that is a fun part I do find about When Calls the Heart as well, that it is a weekly show still. So it still has the fans and Hardys tuning in every week, which is awesome and amazing because you can do the live tweeting and you can be a part of it as opposed to just the after.
Right. That's exactly what it is. It's like you're a part of it. Yeah, not just a viewer. What about food? Do you have favorite foods?
Probably cheese pizza.
Yum.
It's a good cheese pizza. I can never say no. Glass of red wine and cheese pizza, and I'm your girl.
Well,
sounds perfect.
Not like you to add a drink in there, Trudy. But going down the same path, I would say maybe a kingfisher and an Indian. I like Indian food very much.
Okay.
It's the UK's favorite food,
The UK, yeah.
Yep.
So it's like our national food, strangely.
Yes, it is. It's true.
Well, they've been involved with India for
Yeah, it's one of the places that we walked into and said, "There, we've planted our flag. This is ours."
Exactly. And we'll take the food because we don't have any spice.
Yeah.
I mean, the UK like dealt in spices, but forgot to keep the spices. Like,
yeah, that's right. Yeah. I believe food in the UK. I've been in North America for 17 years now, but as I understand it, like you can eat really well in London now. So I think
we should be able to, honestly. Right?
Yeah.
A big time.
It was bad, it really was the joke of the world of how bad English food was, so.
Which they got everything now, right?
Yeah.
How about music? Do you have a favorite musician, band, or song you're currently listening to?
Well, I'm a self-proclaimed Swiftie, so.
Oh, by the way, the edit with the costumes was so fun. Yeah.
Yes, I told Anne that on the day we're there. I'm like, okay. I was like, do you listen to Taylor Swift? She's like, I do. I come and listen. I'm like, hey, you have to understand what our costumes are doing right now because I'm following the heirs to her. So it's like, I'll say my favorite band or musician is my husband. My oldest friend is his band name. So I'll say him.
My oldest friend. That's his band name.
Yes.
Okay.
Music. My oldest
friend. Do you have a favorite Taylor Swift song?
Oh my god, all of them.
I know.
No, mine is actually Paper Rings. I don't know. It's not everyone's favorite, but it just always puts me in a certain mood. And I listen to it when I'm writing a lot of the comic stuff. It just gives me that energy to go. Yeah,
it's a good one. I like that one too.
Okay, how about you, Rob? Do you have a favorite?
Do you know, I'd like to say there's a band called James who you probably don't know because they never really came to North America very much. They've toured in Canada a little bit. They were like late 80s, early 90s. But my favorite act from probably around now onwards is going to be my son because he's just started out on his music career and he is he's launching himself in London. He's studying at Point Blank Music School in London, and he's just found out this last week, which I think is worthy of a mention, that he's collaborated with a guy in his on his course, and they formed a band. And this guy's also got a deal to bring an album out already, and they've been booked for one of the stages at Glastonbury.
Wow.
Okay.
So it's
Yeah.
they haven't seen it in writing yet, but we believe it's going to happen.
That is amazing.
We're just incredibly excited and proud of that, and I'm going to have to book a flight and go. I can't.
Yeah, you're gonna have to book a flight and go.
Absolutely. Yes.
You'll be like, I'm the proud dad. That's
Yeah.
my job here.
I want one of those backstage passes as well.
Yeah.
You better get one.
Okay, right? Like
Hey?
he's just been there since September, correct?
Yeah. But
Yeah,
it's,
that's amazing.
yeah, I mean, he's very talented, but he's landed in the center of the UK music industry. He's in Shoreditch, where the school is, and Shoreditch is apparently, I didn't realize that, it's a long time since I lived in London, but Shoreditch is the kind of center of music in London now, and it's where everything is coming out of, and that's where his school is. So he's just jumped into exactly the right place at just the right time and met the right people, and it just seems, fingers crossed, that it's going really well for him. So,
well, that's amazing. What does he do? Does he play
he's a
instruments?
guitar, yeah, he plays and writes, and he plays guitar, and he's kind of a rock guitarist.
Yeah.
The guy that he's collaborating with is he's a rapper, but apparently, and this is something, I'm not massively up on music, but I'm told that there's becoming a crossover more now with rap and rock, and so that's where they're going with their music. So yeah.
Well, that is fun and
That is
definitely
really
worth
fun.
a shout out. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
So
will
go
have
for it,
to you'll have to get on social media so you can post.
Yes.
Yes, indeed. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Oh,
Perfect.
super.
Speaking of social media, tell everybody where they can follow you if you are on social media. So Courtney.
I am. And I'm going to say, I can't remember if it's Court M. Richter or Courtney M. Richter. I don't remember. How do I see it for myself?
It's one of those.
Courtney M. Richter. It's Instagram at Courtney M. Richter.
Perfect.
That's the main one I'm on. I have Twitter too, but I'm mostly just on Instagram.
Yeah. I have a page on Facebook, and I have an X page, I guess we call it now, not Twitter.
Okay.
Robert Lawrenson. So yeah, that's me.
Okay. So we'll look for you on Twitter. Yes. This has been delightful. Thank you for joining us and taking time out of your days.
Oh, it's
And
been
we love getting to meet Toddy and Trudy. Truly fan favorites.
Oh, thank you. And thank you to the fans too that asked for us to come on here and mention
Yes.
it with you. So
Yes, a lot of people were asking for you guys. Yeah.
Lots. So
Oh,
that's so
great.
wonderful.
Yeah. It's been amazing. So thank you everybody for watching. And again, thank you, Courtney and Rob, for being here with us. It was so fun to meet you. And we will see you next time. Bye, everybody.
bye.